Hey, what's up, guys? Customizing your 1911 for you. Um, One of the things about a 1911 that is so cool, other than the fact that the platform is literally timeless. It's been in service now for 100 years, and it's just there's no end in sight for it. But one of the things about them that are so cool is that you can customize them in so many different ways. There are literally thousands of different things that you can do to a 1911 to make it tailor it toward your specific taste, which is what we're going to do with this one. I'm going to tailor this one and I'm going to customize this one to my particular taste. Now, the 1911, of course, Windows has been around for 100 years, and whether you have a SIG, which everybody knows I'm a SIG guy, or a Glock, or an M&P, doesn't matter. All of that started with this, okay? Had it not been for this platform, those probably would not have come to be. At least not in their present form, or not the way that they did. So this is the granddaddy of them all, so to speak, of automatics at least. And this is what started the automatic revolution. And so we're going to customize this one for me. There are literally thousands of different grips you can do. If you have a standard GI frame with nothing, no frills at all on it, with a spur hammer and a standard grip safety, you can literally drop in an extended beaver tail grip safety with a memory bump. You can put a skeletonized hammer on it. You can change the springs, you can change the triggers, you can change the grips, and there's just a number of things you can do to it. Well, over the years of looking at these, shooting these, messing with them, there's things that I have come to really like, and so we're going to do that with this one. We're going to change the grips. We're going to put those grips that I got from Pete on it. We're going to do some stuff to the hammer. We're going to change the trigger, and we're also going to take a page out of Pete's book when he did his video refine your 1911 pistol. We're going to do that with this one too. We're going to polish the rails, the barrel lugs. We're gonna do a trigger job on it. When we replace the trigger, we're going to show you how to do all of that, and so we're going to go from there. So this is what it looks like out of the box. So this is before, and we're going to show you after when we get it done. So with that, well, let's get started. Hey, what's up, guys? Here we have our 1911 Disassemble. Now, what we're going to do to this thing is we're going to change out the grips. These grips have been marked. They've got a mission. They'll be sent off here in a day or so. We're also going to change out the trigger with this one. Now, this is the trigger that came with it, and we're going to change it out for this one. This is a skeletonized trigger. Got it from Fusion Firearms. It's an adjustable trigger, and we're also going to do a bit of a trigger job on it. So we're going to buff the bow, and we're also going to buff the inside bow track of the frame. We'll use a small stone on that, and we're going to take care of that, so make it a little bit smoother. Most of the time on these triggers, they make them a little oversized, and you have to shave some off the top and the bottom to get them to fit, but this one doesn't. It fits right in, so I don't have to worry about that. Good deal. We're also going to buff the rails, both on the frame and on the slide. And the barrel is already throated, so and it has a little bit of a buff from the factory on it, or a polish. We're gonna take that a little bit further, polish that a little bit better. Again, we're not going to remove any material. We're just going to polish it. We're also going to polish the barrel lugs, and this is so that it will engage battery a little bit better. Then we're going to take this hammer, and we're going to give this a brushed stainless look. We're also going to do that with this. This is aluminum, but we're going to give it a brushed stainless. I'll show you how to do that. And we're going to give this hammer a brushed stainless just on the sides. Okay, we're not going to mess with the top and around here, but just on the sides we're going to give it a brushed stainless. And we're also going to buff out the guide rod just a little bit further, make that a little bit better of a shine. And then we're going to put it back together. Of course, the grips we're going to put it on will be the ones that I got from Pete. So and I'm not going to do a disassembly and a reassembly video on this. There's a ton of them out there, guys. Pete's got one where he explains every little part and what it does and puts it back together. It's a very good one to watch. 1911s are pretty much all closely the same. And if you're interested in a Rock Island Armory, there's a guy, I never say his channel name right, I call him Doc. I will link to him down here and down below. He's got a 4-part video series. I think you watch all 4 parts, it's like 10 minutes. So, you know, it ain't nothing. And he takes this firearm completely apart and puts it back together and explains it in detail to you. Except his is, he polished all of his out and it looks stainless. But other than that, it is a Rock Island Armory officer size. So with that, guys, we're gonna get to work on it. So let's head to the shop. Okay, guys. The first step in customizing your pistol or your 1911, or for what we're doing here for it, is we're gonna have to do a trigger job on it. Now we're gonna replace the trigger. Now this is a standard, or this is the stock trigger, and I'm gonna use it for demonstration purposes. I already have our custom trigger set up in my X bench. What we're going to do to start with this thing is, hopefully you can see it right here on this. We're gonna basically cut a relief flat right on the back edge of the trigger, okay, or the trigger bow. Now we're not going to go all the way through, so we are not going to decrease the distance from here to here. You can mic it and it would be the same, but we are going to cut a relief flat. Now what that relief flat is for is that the spring that actually connects, or that actually rides on the disconnect, and you can kind of see it right here where it has. The disconnect actually sits right here. Again, you can see on this particular bow where it's been riding at. So from about that point down, we're going to cut a relief flat. Now the reason being for that is when the trigger comes back, the spring that is on the disconnect, the bottom edge of this bow can tend to cause a separation between the spring and the disconnect. So what we're doing by putting this flat relief on it is maintaining the contact of the spring to the disconnect. Now does that make a difference? Depending on who you ask, it can, but it is part of a custom trigger job. And now the key thing here to remember is that we're not going to go all the way through. So basically, the distance, the thickness, we're not going to come all the way through. We're just going to cut a small relief flat, and we're going to use a bastard file to do it. You could use a Dremel tool or something if you wanted to, and you felt a little bit closer or felt a little bit better about it. But the key here is to keep it as level as possible. It's not going to take very many strokes, so let's see where we go with it. And you know, if you're, it can mess the trigger up, so you want to be careful with it. So we're going to put it and make it flat and see where we go. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, and you can see that flat just a little bit there. See where it's shining. Make just a bit of a relief flat, nothing major, just a little bit there, and we'll take and we'll cut off any edge. That's all you need. It's not very much, but it's just enough so that now when the disconnect comes down to ride, it'll ride right at the top of that flat, about in that area, and the spring shouldn't be moved away from the end of the disconnect. And so that's it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to polish up this little, or we're going to take some of the rough edges off. So let me get one or two things together and back in a sec. Okay guys, I'm back. Switched over to macro. Wanted to show you this little bit here in the end. Hopefully this will focus up for you this time around, how you can see how that will marry up with the disconnect will ride on the end of the trigger bow. And so hopefully that will show up on camera pretty good. Pretty good shot there. And it will ride there, and then our relief cut will allow a straight down shot. All right, now let me get that back off macro real quick, hang on. Okay, now what we're going to do now is we're going to take some of the edges off of our trigger here. Now that we've got that all set, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take some of this out. We're going to use some 600 grain sandpaper for that. You can use a little file if you wanted to, a polishing stick, something of that nature. What I mean by that is these triggers, when they come in, they have a little bit of a sharp edge right here. And so we're basically just going to take that sharp edge off. That's all we're doing. You can use your finger and kind of feel it a little bit, and just some 600 sandpaper. Go back and forth right on the inside of all the pieces of the bow. I mean, you're not removing any material. You're just taking off any burrs that may be there. It's right on the edge. See, some magazines you'll see scratched up and a big scratch down one part of it. Chances are it's from some burrs that are on the inside of the trigger bow. And it could be other stuff too. But we just want to make sure it's nice and smooth. There it is. There's no sharp edges now, and that's what we're looking for. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to polish up the bow here. Now this is the part that rides on the frame. This part of the side of the bow here and here. And what we're going to use for it is flits. Now I've already got some put on my buffing wheel here. Some people like to put it directly on the part herself, and which is fine. You can, but I've got some on the buffing wheel, so we're just going to fire it up and go from there. I don't want it real fast, but I don't want it dead slow either. We want it to polish. If it's too slow, it won't polish. If it's too fast, it may burn it. So I'm just going to hold on to it, set it down, and just go with it. Using very minimal pressure. You can already start to see a shine coming up on it. More or less let the Dremel do the work itself. We're just doing a little bit of a polish here. I'm not removing any material, nothing like that. Nice and shiny. We'll hit this side the same way. Right, and go ahead and hit the back of it just a little bit. Very little pressure on it, guys. You don't want it to get too warm on you. Let the Dremel do the work. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's see here. Hopefully you can see it. A little bitty table here. I need a better. Once I get my bench in, guys, we'll be a lot better off. We'll do some more videos like this once I get this in. And yeah, hopefully you can see that on camera. It really smoothed it up. Make a nice sphere. Not quite a mirror finish, but you can see on the inside just a little bit where it's a little duller. All we want to do is bring a shine to it. Feels real smooth. Okay, that's it. What we're going to do next is. While we got the Dremel out, we're going to hit this real quick and very, very lightly. We're going to polish the underside of the disconnect, and I mean ever so slight, just a little bit. Not even trying to remove bluing, just to smooth the surface up just a little bit. You can take that further, but that is a whole lot smoother than it was. And that's all we're going to mess with. Not going to mess really with the disconnect or the sear at this point. The only thing that we've got left to do now is we're going to give the trigger boot here a bit of a brushed stainless look, and we'll do that with some sandpaper. It's going to be low grit, probably 200 grit. So let me get that ready, and we'll be back in a sec, and we'll go from there.